Hey, good morning there. It's Kirk Duncan, and welcome to our training here this morning. And I want to do a mic check. So if somebody in the chat box will tell me that my microphone is working, that would be awesome. Just to know that it's on and it's working. Somebody in the chat box tell me. Super good. Okay, I'm just going to wait here just for a moment and make sure my microphone's on. And welcome to the training. This is going to be fantastic. Totally inspiring. Oh, Peter. Thank you, Peter. Jen, Melinda, Joseph. All right, sweet. All right, and then I'm going to put my little picture here down here in the corner. Good morning. How are you? Hey, great to be with you. And who do we got on here today? There's Holly. Where are you guys from? Jump in there and tell me where you're from. I know some of you started to do that. Kathy from Nevada. Hi, Kathy. And we've got Derek on here, Diana, Shane. And yeah, if you guys haven't yet, get on there and tell me where you're from. I'd like to know that. And oh, perfect. Jen's from Logan. Nice. Melinda from Orem. Miriam from Utah. Sweet. We got people all over the place. This is awesome. Richard from Idaho. Florida. Who's that from Florida? Corey from Florida? What are you doing? That's awesome, man. That's cool. Provo, Midvale, and all of a sudden it's just like boom, 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 boom. When it catches up, it just like takes off. Iowa? What? Victoria from Iowa? Oh, yeah, there's Victoria. Cool. Hey, wow. Great to be with you here this morning. And I could sit here and just watch your chats the whole time, but I got some great insight to give you that I've been thinking about a lot. And we got to dive into this. There's some really important things going on in the world right now where we need to really step up our awareness of what's going on. And one of the ways that we get better today is we review what's happened in our past. And that's what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you on a trip through my past. Now, you've seen the emails come out talking about this webinar this morning. And so it's pretty good that it's going to be like pretty raw here. I'm not going to try to come off fancy about this. I just want to share with you some real and raw things that have really helped me. And I hope that you're ready to take notes or screenshots, whatever you're going to do to make this good for you so that you can get some value, right, out of the time we're going to spend here together this morning. So let's check in here right at the very beginning. One of my first lessons that really has made a big difference for me that I continue to really evaluate every day is that in my life, there are different levels that I can exist at. And as I've coached and I've trained people, being the owner of my company, developing a company in the first place, I really had no idea that I could get to this level. I didn't even know this existed. So what happens is, just like what you'll see here on the screen, I didn't know that I could step up to this kind of level. I also didn't know that I could slip down to such a low level. And this is something that's opened my eyes in a very big way, is I have had over the last 18 years, I've had the lowest time in my life, and I've had the highest time of my life. And what it's taught me, I'm just going to tell this out front. I'm going to do some backstory here. What it's taught me is that every person has different levels that they're going to travel through one way or another. Now, we strive every day, right? You and me, we strive every day to try to get up and move up the levels and do better, be more organized. But you ever notice how we work really hard at things, but then we'll just have those days that we drop down, right? Like it's real life. It's like we travel through a cycle of doing really well, doing well, and then some things happen, they pile up on top of us and we slip down and we find ourselves going down the scale. Well, about 17 years ago, hold on. It's about in that 17-year range. I had some things happen to me that woke me up to why I had hit rock bottom. Now, if you have ever hit rock bottom, you know what it's like at rock bottom for you. And I think it's safe that we never, ever, ever, ever compare our rock bottom to somebody else's rock bottom. You know what I mean? Because it's like we can't compare the worst of worst with the people around us, because that's just not going to turn out right. So it's like, I'm going to share with you what my worst of worst was and what I was going through. And then I want to take you on a journey of how I moved out of that and stayed away from the bottom. Because once I hit that bottom and I went through that bottom, I don't want to go there again. That's bad. It's just wicked bad. Very scary because of the kind of thoughts I was having and the kind of things that were going on in my life. I just never want to go back there again. I had no idea that scary zone, that I would ever step into that place. But what was going on in that moment? I was not on the bottom. I was about in the middle, right? You can see me on the screen there. I was about in the middle. And a series of events happened. I got, my boss at work, because at this time I was working for somebody else. And I was a manager of a warehouse. And my boss got really mad at me, and he literally yelled at me, the loudest I've ever heard someone ever yell at me before. And he didn't say it, but he pretty much called me stupid and was just questioning me why I was making so many mistakes. Now, I don't know about you, but if you got yelled at like really intensely, what would that do to you? Well, to me, what happened is it knocked me down. And so I got in trouble at work and I got yelled at, and I was new at that job. I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying to figure it out, but I was making a ton of mistakes and I was getting in trouble from my mistakes. And then I get yelled at, and it knocked me down a level that I've never been treated like that before by another human being. Very demeaning, very degrading. And I didn't just pop right back out of it. I was down. Then another event happens where we don't have money to pay our bills. We're behind. We're falling deeper in debt. And so another event is we're going over the bills, and I'm seeing how much we owe and how I'm supposed to pay this money. And it's not going to happen. And so seeing that I'm not enough to make enough, it knocked me down another level. And so these levels that I'm getting knocked down, they were just one right after another. And it was causing me really to question myself if I really have it in me that I could really pull any of this together. And I started to doubt myself. One, because of these series of events that were degrading and devaluing, but then also because it actually got inside me, and I started to really evaluate myself of how many mistakes I make and all the things that I do wrong. And it started to stress me out. So because I got stressed out, I started to eat a lot, too much, started to gain weight faster than I've ever gained weight in my entire life. And I was adding on the pounds. And then when I look in the mirror, I would degrade myself because I was using food to calm my stress. And then that was coming back and causing me to look at myself and hate myself. And so then I dropped down another level. And as I started to drop down past this red line, it got scary because there was these other thoughts that were coming into my head that were also negative. And it's something I've never really experienced at that point before in my life. But it's like the lower you go, there tends to be like this, it like multiplies. It's like there's these other voices. Now, I don't know if you believe in the devil, But I believe that there's a God, and I believe that there's a devil, right? There's good and bad. There's a God and there's a devil. And I don't know what you believe. You translate that how you need to, but I'm going to speak from my heart today. I believe that there's a God. I believe there's a devil. And when I started to slip down below this red line, it's like the devil poured it on. He poured it on, and he started talking down to me and degrading me and reminding me of everything that was messed up about me. So one, it was already bad enough to get knocked down by other people, and then to have issues with my wife over bills. So it was like, it was my boss, then it was my wife, and then I felt like a terrible dad. And then it starts to creep inside me. And now I'm talking bad about myself, not just like sarcasm. I'm talking like complete degrading conversation. If you've ever been there before, you know what I'm talking about. And that inside conversation got vicious. I mean, literally, like I was ripping myself to pieces on the inside. And there was no turning back. And I kept sinking and sinking and sinking and sinking. And you see how that little stick figure on your screen, you see how the head is barely treading above water? This is where you start to feel like you go under. And now you feel like you're drowning. And as I was feeling like I was drowning, the negativity was constant. It was degrading, and that becomes depressing. Now, I don't know if you've been in depression before, but this is my first time in my life that I've ever reached a point of being depressed. And it was because there were so many voices and so many comments in my head that were literally tearing me down and tearing me apart. I literally would drive to work, and I was an outside salesperson. I'd drive to work, and I would go out on a sales call, and I would find an alley. You know what an alley is? I would go find this dirt road, and I'd pull over the side of the road, and I would sleep for like 3 or 4 hours. Not because I was tired. Not because I was tired. I was trying to get away from the voices. I was trying to get away from the negativity. And the only way I could make it go away is if I went unconscious. Now, do you hear that? Do you hear how dangerous that is? That one of my first choices to make the negativity go away is to go unconscious. And so I'd go to sleep, even at work. I'd drive down the dirt road, pull over, and just try to sleep to get away from it. And I get away from the voices in my head, the negative feelings in my heart, and to get away from people. Now, what did that do, though? It caused problems, because now I'm starting to fall behind in my job, and now my boss is going to yell at me again, and I'm in trouble, and I'm stressed, and I'm going to eat, I'm going to gain more weight, and I'm going to degrade myself even more. So I was in this vicious cycle I had no clue how to get out of. And I wasn't turning to anybody for help. I wasn't asking anybody for help, because if I asked somebody for help, I'd have to tell them what was going on. And that would be like the worst. I can't tell somebody how I feel, because they probably would laugh at me. They'd tell me I was weak. They'd tell me I was stupid, and they just poke at me. So there's like no way I was going to ask somebody for help. And in fact, the voices in my head were telling me that. Don't involve people. Don't tell people what's going on. They're just going to laugh at you. And so depression because it was heavy, because it was weighing on my mind. It was weighing on my heart. And it was dark. I wanted to run away, but I couldn't, and I didn't. And so I would try to sleep it off. And I would try so hard to sleep it in the morning. I try to, run away in my brain by doing other activities and just try to, that like numbness of like just roaming the internet, doing whatever, and just like binge watching fishing videos. because it's like just escape from everything. So I hit this bottom. And when I'm down that low, the voices are talking to me and they're telling me all kinds of stuff about me. They're telling me that Kim's going to leave me, that my kids hate me, that I'm going to get fired, that it's better off if I'm gone. So week after week, month after month of being in this depressed state, it became familiar. Like, you know what? This is just how it is. Now, I tried really hard to fake it on the outside, try to be nice and, be happy. But on the inside, it was heavy. It was dark. I was lost. I was confused. And I had no idea how to get out of it. But the voices kept telling me, don't tell anyone what you're going through. They're going to laugh at you and they're not going to help you. So I did it. So the months clicked by. And as they went by, it just got heavier and heavier. And then I kept making more and more mistakes. And so I getting in more in trouble. So it was compounding on top of me. It's yucky. Then one day I got yelled at again by my boss. And he was mad again because I was making mistakes. And I was just fed up. I was like, are you serious? I'm so sick of this. I don't even want to be at this job. And now I'm going to drive home and Kim's going to be mad. And then I got my boss mad at me. Kim's mad at me. My kids won't even talk to me. They just stay away from me because I'm ornery. And so on the way home, I was contemplating like, well, what am I supposed to do? And when you're depressed and you don't know what to do and you got little voices talking to you in your head, they start to take over. As soon as I didn't know what to do, the devil and his minions, they start to tell you what to do. And the first suggestion they gave me was, well, go home, pack a bag, and leave. Get away from all this. And I thought that was a great idea. I had it in my mind. I knew what bag I was going to get out of the garage. I knew what clothes I was going to throw in my bag. And then I was just going to leave. And I thought, well, I'll just leave for like a month. And then those little voices in my head said, no, be gone for 2 months. I was like, yeah, 2 months. That'd be great. And then the little voice in my head said, well, just move up into the mountains, move away from people, go all be by yourself. I was like, yeah, that's even a better idea. I had no idea that those voices were actually leading me down a path, inch by inch by inch, separating me from what is important. But because I lost control of my life, I was looking for guidance. And because I was in such a negative state and I was listening to all these negative voices, it was very natural to follow those voices because those were the loudest voices in my head. Didn't ask anybody else for advice because they were just going to laugh at me and poke at me and make fun of me. So it was very natural to follow those voices because they were so demanding, so commanding in my head. And so when I was driving home and it was like, hey, you should move out, grab a bag. Yes, I'm going to be gone for 2 months. Okay, well, move up in the mountains. Okay, we'll have to figure that one out. We'll be gone for longer. And as the suggestions kept stretching, they just kept taking me further away and literally saying, and never come back. And I started to realize like, wow, this is a great idea. I need to leave and never come back. I was about halfway home. The voices switched and they said, since you're not coming back, you could be permanently gone and away from all this pain. Because it was painful. It's a weird hurt. It's weird. It's like there's just nothing. Numb, no feelings. It's like numb and hurt at the same time. It's almost like my soul and my body were being pulled apart, but they were just still stuck together, and it was like trying to rip the two apart. I know it sounds weird, but I've just, for years tried to figure out like, how do I explain that feeling of numb, but it hurts and it's yucky, but it's nothing. So the voices said, well, you could be gone and get rid of all this pain. I was like, oh, I'm in for this. What do we do? It's like, well, when you go home, just go grab one of your hunting guns and go out in the garage. Roll yourself up in a blanket. It won't make a mess. That way you won't bother anybody. And I was like, whoa. And that was a new thought for me. I was like, wow, that's a crazy thought. And then the voices kept saying, but you're going to get rid of all the pain. And you make everybody mad anyway. And they literally were talking me through exactly what to do. And I was in the moment, so I didn't recognize what was going on, but I was in the moment driving down the freeway. And as I got close to the exit to where I'm going to get off to go home, I had agreed, like, okay, that makes sense. Like, this is going to be so much easier, so much better. And the voices were like, yeah, okay, as soon as you get home, do this. And they just kept repeating. Now notice and listen carefully. The adversary, the devil, and his minions, they just kept repeating over and over and over again what I should do. And the more that they repeated it, the more I got accustomed to thinking the thoughts. And so it pulled me in because it just kept repeating over and over and over again. And it just made it seem like, oh, well, this is what I need to do because these are the voices telling me what to do. And this is what's been familiar. And this is what's in my head. And whatever's in my head, I guess it makes sense. Now, I hope you're listening to this whole process because we're going to break this down. And I'm going to show you what I've done since this day to combat all of this. So I'm listening and they're repeating it over and over again, not very fast, but just very constant, very monotone, not pushy, not aggressive, but consistently repeating the instructions of what I should do. And as they repeated it, it became more and more familiar that that's what I ought to do because it's in my head and it's becoming a decision because it's being repeated in my head. And so as I get off the freeway and I'm going down through the lights, I'm 5 blocks from the house, 4 blocks, 3 blocks. And all I have in my mind is the instructions of what to do and the imagery of how to do it. And I felt my body agreeing that it should do it. So I'm driving down the street. I see the driveway. I pull in the driveway. And then the next instructions are to get out of the truck and go do this and go get this and go get the gun and go in the garage. Oh, when you pull in the driveway, go get the gun, go get the blanket, go in the garage. And it was just repeating over and over and over again. And it's on my mind. I'm hearing it. I'm thinking about it. And my body is about ready to get out of the truck to go do the things that are going on in my mind. Now, if you're listening, you're hearing what's happening. You're hearing how this process works. Now, in the moment, I didn't know what was happening, right? I didn't know what's going on, but I'm sitting there in the truck and I reach to go get out of the truck and a big knock happens on the truck and I don't see an adult. So I look out the window and there's my son Cameron. He was already home from school. And I looked down and I said, Cameron, what are you doing? He goes, Dad, I'm home from school. Let's go play. I'm like, no, I can't play right now. He's like, Dad, come on, let's go play. In the moment of my body starting to take on the thoughts and the imagery to go do the action, Cameron showed up as an interrupt. And he interrupted my action of getting out and going and following through. I ended up going inside. laying on the living room floor and playing with Cameron. As I'm laying on the living room floor playing with toys with Cameron, in my mind, the instructions are still playing. And I'm laying there playing with Cameron, looking at Cameron and listening to those instructions. And I remember the moment I snapped out of it. And I laid there looking at Cameron, realizing that it was some kind of trance. It was some kind of takeover of my mind, because it was instructions and it was go do this, and this is how it's going to happen. And I'm laying there just realizing, oh my goodness, that is not something I'm going to do. And I'm starting to tell myself, no, this isn't what I want to do. This is not what's going to happen. And I heard the voices in my head get intense. They said, you need to do this. And I'm like, I'm not going to do this. And all along I'd been agreeing. And now it's like I'm starting to fight back. And when I started to say something back, I felt the resistance. And in that moment, I realized this is not me. It's not. This is not me. This is something else. This is something else talking to me. Who is this? What is this? And I was laying there playing with Cameron, trying to process this, and he's trying to talk to me, and I'm not really listening. I'm just playing with the toys, and I'm just going through all these things. And as I'm sitting there, I'm having this realization of how far down I had got and how much I have surrendered my own thinking. And as I'm realizing how far into my head these thoughts got into me, I started to push back on these thoughts and started to get back out of it. And I got my head back up above water and realizing, wait a minute, I'm not going to do something like this. This is not me. What am I doing? And then I started to think, wait a minute, how did this happen? How did this happen that I sunk this far and went clear under and got taken over? It's like it wasn't my choice at this point. When I was under and I'm down, depressed, lost, like don't know what to do, and I'm looking for guidance, and there's this voice in my head giving me guidance, I just started listening to the voice. I guess that would be a choice to listen to the voice, but now I'm listening to the voice, and now the voice is giving me all the instructions, and so then I'm just obeying those instructions. But it makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you that when a person gets down that low, they actually start to surrender to what's going on inside their head. And it makes sense why people, it makes sense to me why people, when they have bad things happen to them or they have difficult things happen to them, how they can actually get stuck. And the reason why they're stuck in their head is because they're listening to what's going on inside their head, because it's the only form of direction that they have. But it's terrible. It's demeaning. It's degrading. It's debilitating. It's damaging. It's damning. And it's happened inside their head, but they're so low, they can't find instruction from anybody else. And I know at this point, I know from talking to other people that they get told the same things that I was told. Don't tell anybody. Don't involve anybody. Because they'll just poke at you. They'll make fun of you. They're going to laugh at you. And so it makes sense when somebody gets knocked down from a series of events, and then the degrading happens, they get down here, why they get stuck in that low energy, that low attitude, and why they don't just pop back. How come they can't just pop back up? How come your friend can't just come back? How come you can't just all of a sudden just be fine? It's because of what's going on inside your head. So when I was laying on the floor with Cameron and I'm having this realization of what's going on, it actually made me mad. actually started to feel. And the first thing I felt was I was mad that I had fallen for this talking and this deception in my head, and that I had actually got to the point that I was actually agreeing to those instructions. I was mad. I didn't show Cameron that I was mad, but I was just laying there just going, okay, I'm mad. How did this happen? How did I get down this low? And that question right there, how did I get down this low? How did I get to this point? Now turned into an actual investigation for me. I'm not kidding. I got super passionate that day. I went and grabbed a journal, and a blank journal. I found this book. It was a black book. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start taking notes. I've got to figure out why I fell so far down. And I started documenting and starting writing down what had been going on that day, the day before, the week before, the month before. And I started taking notes and started thinking through the step-by-step process of what took me down and why I got stuck and why I couldn't pull out of it and why I literally was powerless. Because I, in that moment, realized I never want to be deceived again. Never am I going to fall for those internal voices deceiving me and taking me down this. And then I wrote in my book, I wrote in my journal, I wrote, oh, well, Kim and I had an argument, and that also knocked me down. And also my boss yelled at me, and also I made mistakes. And it's like, wait a second. This all started from making mistakes? This all started from me making a mistake. I made a mistake. Somebody got upset with me. It knocked me down. And then because I was down, I made another mistake. And then I got in trouble again. And it just kept knocking me down. It's like, wait a second. How many times do people make mistakes? People are making mistakes all the time. And I started to think about this. Now, this is not just that day. This is over the course of the next couple of weeks. And I was thinking about it, just going, wait a second. If I'm going to make more mistakes, that means if I make a mistake, this whole thing could happen again. I'm going to travel down these levels if I don't do something different. If I don't change what happens to me when I make a mistake, I'm going to travel back down these layers, and I'm going to hit bottom again, and I'm going to go under again, and those voices are going to be there, and they're going to tell me the same instructions to get me to do the same thing. So over those weeks, as I started to build myself back up, and I'm realizing I got to figure this out. Why did I fall? Why did I go down? How come I got that low? And when I started to wonder why I went that low, the opposite thought started to happen too. How do I stay up? How do I stay up, and how do I not go that low? Those two questions right there. How do I stay up? How do I stay maintained? And how do I not drop down again? Now, I did not have all the answers in the moment, but I had the questions. My questions were in place. And I'm going to tell you right now, 18 years later, those questions still burn in me. They just still burn. Because that was such a painful experience and such a humbling moment to realize that my mind can be taken over and that I can surrender my mind and listen to a bunch of garbage directions to the point that I almost was going to be taking my life. It's like, wait a minute. That means like my life's over. That's like the end. So it burned in my soul. How did this happen? How did I drop? And still 18 years later, my mind is still very, very awake and very conscious of what causes me and what causes other people to go down. And it also has caused me to find how a person can move up the levels. Because if I can move up the levels, each one of these levels, and I can move up these levels, and then I also know how to detect when I'm starting to fall down a level, I can course correct and pull myself back up. But those two questions, what causes me to drop and what will cause me to rise to the next level? Now, let's say you took those two questions and you started to ponder on those two questions. Those two questions right there would solve so much for you. So many things in your life. So many things. Because when you're down a level, when you're down here, you don't think at your best. You don't process at your best. You don't analyze things at your best because you're halfway. You're in the middle. That's not your best performance. And then if you're even down here, you're going to be even more off. And when you're down here, you make more mistakes. It's a lot more problems, a lot of self-induced problems. Now, when I'm up here and you're at this level and we exist at this level, we make better decisions, and it helps us head this direction. And so for you and me, it makes sense that those two questions ought to be on our mind. It's like, wait a minute, what takes us down and what moves me up? What is it? And so for the last 18-ish years, my mind looks for these answers. And then what happens, because I'm looking for these answers, I find answers. That's the cool part. You look for answers, you find answers. You look for reasons, you find reasons. You look for techniques, you find techniques. You look for solutions, you find solutions. And so I've been hot on the path of figuring out and learning what a person can do to not drop down and be stuck down there. And then what to do to rise up to the next level. Because if I know those two things, I can maintain a level. Maybe I drop down a little bit, but I can come right back. If I drop down too much further, I know what to do to course correct, to come back. So I really believe if every human being, if every person understood how to keep themselves from dropping down and also how to raise up to the next level, like really what to do, we would see that people are performing better. We would see relationships stay together. We would see people work together. We would see people be more kind to each other. But we don't have that in society. We have some pockets of that, but it's not all over the place. There's good people, but there's also people who are silently struggling. There are people who are silently in depression and they don't tell people. They just do the thing I was doing. They're faking it. They're struggling, they're down, they're depressed, but on the outside, they're just putting on a good show. And then we find out that they took their life. And people are like, whoa, didn't even see it. Why do we not see it? Oh, the reason why we don't see it is because we don't even want to see it in ourselves. If we can't see ourselves dropping down, we can't see other people dropping down. We think everybody's okay. Everybody's fine. Yeah, go to the store. All those people are fine, right? No, they're not. They're not. But in a general sense, people don't even look at themselves paying attention to what level they're at. They don't even know. They don't even have a marker system. They don't even have a tracking system. They don't even give themselves a report card or a grading system to even find out where are they. They don't even know they're slipping. They don't even know they're going down a level because they don't even pay attention to that. They got too many other things on their mind. So as I have been deeply studying this and using the techniques that I find, and people ask me, Kirk, what are you doing? Oh, this is what I do. And then I coach people, I train people of what I found, their lives get more in their control. And they're managing their lives instead of going up and down the scale randomly and recklessly. They're more in a level of management instead of reaction. And so I want to show you, like I promised in the emails, I want to show you what I've been paying attention to, what I look for, what matters. Because if you don't know how to keep yourself from dropping down, and you don't know how to hold yourself at that level, you'll get stuck at a lower level. And there's a lot of people stuck at a lower level because they don't know they're there, and they don't know what to do to get themselves out of there. It's a big, big problem. And because the world has intensified and there's all kinds of things going on and it's become more intense, then what's happening is if a person, wherever a person is, it becomes more cemented. It doesn't push them down. It just cements around them that that's where they have to stay. And I feel the cement drying. And so it's like, for me, it's like, man, I got to get up some levels. I got to keep going because the cement is drying. And it's like people are going to get really hardened in on where they're at. People's opinions are getting more hard. They're getting more determined that what they think is real and true. And people are just getting really weird this way. They're not open. They're just becoming more on what they believe. And it's like, oh, people, come on. We got levels to move. So my work here this morning is to share with you these levels, to share with you this story and what it's taught me. What that experience has taught me to look at and to look for. So the last 16, 17, 18 years, I'm still in the pursuit of what else I can learn to keep from dropping down and to keep the devil out of my head, and what I can do to move myself up so that I can make the best decisions possible in the moments that I need to, so I can have the best results possible. I like having good results. I really do. I really like good results. I really don't like bad results. I really don't like that. I don't like it when I make decisions that cause problems that just did not have to happen. I've been through that for years, and it's like, I don't need to do that anymore. I get to be more sharp and wise and conscious and awake to make better decisions. I get to be that way. Okay. So I know I brought that out and just kind of really hashed over that, but I wanted to show you there's levels. Just right there. The first principle is that there's levels. Okay. So what drives us up and down these levels? What is it, right? What is it that drives us up and down these levels? So let's start out with some basic concepts here. There is, on the inside of you, there are thoughts and feelings. That goes on inside your skin. On the outside of you, there's all kinds of movement of things, right? I think you would agree with this. Type in the chat and just say, yep, I agree. On the inside, there's thoughts and feelings. On the outside of you, there's lots of moving parts, right? So we're going to just start together here and walk through this process because I got a lot to show you. Okay, next piece is this. What we feel on the inside comes out of our body to the outside. So what we feel on the inside moves to the outside. Now, maybe you're not going to agree with me on this one because you're like, no, that doesn't happen. And this is where I get to start training you, going, by the way, what you feel on the inside moves to the outside, if it's positive or if it's negative. If it's negative, it also moves to the outside. So what I'm showing you here is your skin is not a shield. Your muscles are not a shield. Your bones are not a shield. They do not stop feelings or emotion or energy from coming in or from coming out. There's an assumption that the skin, bones, and organs block a person's thoughts and emotions, but that is so not true. You know, you can walk into a room and you can feel the attitude of the people in the room because it came out of their body. When you're standing next to somebody, you can get a sense of them, of the vibe that they're giving off, right? So the skin, the bones, the organs don't stop emotions and attitudes and feelings from coming in, and they don't stop it from coming out of you. So boom, there we go. There's a mind-opening piece, is that the skin, bones, and organs don't stop those things. So what we're saying is negative and positive energy moves through people. It moves. It's always moving. It's shifting. And there's a scale, right? There's a scale. There's a low energy and there's a high energy. And there's a scale anywhere between those. But to keep it simple, we're going to call it positive and negative. That's what we're going to do. Is going to keep it simple, but there's all varying degrees in between there. But there's a low energy or destructive energy and a positive energy, which is a healing and mending energy. Okay, cool. Okay, next on the principles here is there's a scale, and I was kind of talking about this already, that there's a scale, and depending on how much of each of these you have in your body, it determines your particular level. So let's say up here at the top, up here, let's say you have, just to keep it simple, let's say you have 3, let's say you have 4. You got 4 of these in you. And then down here, let's say you have 5 of these. What's the balance? 4 goods, 5 bads. Well, that would put you below the line because there's 4 up here, there's 5 down here. That's going to put you 1 below the line. So what this principle is teaching you is that there's inventory. So inventory. So if I have, or if you have 5 of these in you, and you only have 4 of these, that means you are below the line by -1. Are you with me on that? Okay, so why does this matter? Okay, so we were talking about levels. So if you are -1, that means you are drifting down the scale or the level because you have a -1. Now let's say you have a -1 all day long. You are drifting down because it's down. Down is down. Up is up. Okay. It's really simple, but we got to make sure we get this. Okay. So if you are in a negative level, you are slowly drifting down. Now you can hide this. You're really good at hiding. You can take this and you can stuff it down here in the corner somewhere and you can hide it. And you can pretend like it's not there. People do that all the time. They're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to act like that's not there. I'm going to pretend like everything's fine. And I'm just going to keep a good, nice chipper voice. And I got 4 positives. And so that means I'm positive, Kirk. Great. And it's like, yeah, I'm positive. And it's like, I'm glad you're positive, but explain to me why your bank account is going down. And they're like, I don't know. That's a weird thing. It's like, well, the reason why your bank account's going down is because you are in a negative level and it's slowly dropping. That's what's going on. And now people don't want to think that it's actually a calculation that we can come up with, but we need to really consider this, that it's based upon inventory. It's based upon inventory. Now let's change this. Let's go here. let's add 1. And then down here, let's take away 1. So now where are we at? Oh, we had lots down there. So let's go with 4. So we got 4 down here and we got 5 up here. So now we're 1 in the positive, right? We're up a scale. What's going to happen to this person? Well, they're going to slowly drift up, slowly go up. Now, the reason why this is important, because this helps us understand what causes us to move up and what causes us to move down. It's not a mystery. It's not just some random reckless thing that happens. What causes people to slowly drift up is when their contents inside, right? The contents inside are more in the positive instead of the negative. Now, up here at the top, you could have 100, and down here you could have 99, but you're still 1 more in the positive, which means you're going to go up the scale. It means you're going to go up very slowly, really, really slow. So if you, no matter how hard you work, you're just going to move slow. Did you hear that? No matter how hard you work, you're just going to move slow because you only got a 1 plus moving you up. Now, for people who don't think this way, because I think like this all the time, I look at people's results when I coach them. When I coach people, I ask them about their results because that tells me where they're at on the scale. And where they're at on the scale and which direction they're going, guess what that tells me? It tells me how their inventory is on the inside. And then if I tell them, hey, the reason why you're going down is because you have an excess of negativity in you. And if they say, no, I don't, Kirk, I'm happy. I'm like, I'm fine that you're happy, but you're doing a great job avoiding what's negative in you. See, people do that all the time. They hide their negativity from everybody because the devil told them, don't tell people. The devil tells people, don't bring up your negativity. Just stick it in the pocket, stick it down deep, because the devil wants people to hide their negativity so that they'll quit looking at it too. And then they'll wonder, how come I'm going down, Kirk? Well, the reason why you're going down is because you have negativity in you. No, I don't. I'm happy. Well, you're happy, but you're covering up your negativity. Now, this sometimes turns into a conversation with people to help them understand why they're going down because they can't figure it out. And I've spent the last 18 years figuring this out. So I'm on it. I'm on it. And when people have good attitudes but bad results, it tells me, I'll say it again. People tell me they're having bad results, but they have a good attitude. It tells me they're doing a really good job at hiding. And sometimes so good at hiding, they can't even find it. That's why they hire me, because I know how to find it. I know where to look to find their negativity so that we can reduce it. Because if they're sitting there with 5 positives and there's all these negatives and we took these off and we cleared these out right here, we cleared these out and we got down to this right here, this person's life would change. They'd go up at a slow pace or a fast pace. Faster pace than the person who just had 1 in the positive. Now this person would have 3. So the throttle goes up. It goes up because there's more positive. And so that means what this person's doing is going to escalate and it's going to speed up. And that's what I love doing for people. I love coaching people to help them do this process so that they can move up a level. So with that, they're going to move up the levels quickly. And they're going to be like, oh, this is a miracle. Wow, this is like so lucky. And it's like, no, it's actually an equation. BC people don't know the equations and they don't understand what takes them down. They don't understand what takes them up. And so they never get involved with the process. They don't get involved. But that's why we're talking this morning, because this is what taught me from my almost taking my life. This is the first principle that it taught me over the years that I figured out. It's like, whoa, there's an inside, there's an outside. What's inside you will go to the outside, and what's outside you will get in you. And so that means that there's traveling emotions and thoughts and energy that is just floating through the air that can just get in you and can really pile up inside of you. Just like your backyard, just like your kitchen, just like your living room, we got to constantly straighten things up, throw away the trash, clean up, keep things organized. And we need to remove this from you. You need some detox. You need to detox the negativity inside you. Now get in the chat and tell me if you know you need a detox. Because man, if you could detox, look at this. If you could detox and boom, and you get this down and you're like that, you're going to go up. You're going to figure things out. And you know what happens when you go up? I'm totally going way too long on this, but I'm just going to tell you, the more you go up, the more clear you get. And guess what happens? You make better decisions. And then people are like, wow, you're so blessed. You're so lucky. And it's like, no, he cleaned up. They cleaned up. Anybody can do this. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how many messed up things you got in your life. It doesn't matter what's happened to you. You can clean up. That's the part I just want to show you here, is that there's inside, outside, and you're going to have stuff inside of you from all different things, from people, from scenarios. But that if you're on this end, and the more this goes up, the more quickly things move. But if you're down here, you're going down. So let's just simplify it. Up is up, down is down. It's really simple. But we got to do inventory. And if you're like, but Kirk, I'm a really good, positive person, and you've heard me say this 3 times already, but I'm going to say it 4, is that if you say, oh, I'm a really positive person, Kirk, but I have terrible results, I can't do anything. It's like, well, then you have something inside you don't want to look at, or that you've hidden, or you've stuffed in the corner, or you stuck in a box, or you swept it under the rug. And then they're like, well, what do I do? And I say, well, let's talk. And let me listen to you. And I'm going to ask questions. And I can help you find it. And then when we find it, there's no judgment. There's just work to do. It's like we got to clean up, get you organized from the inside out. How is your life supposed to get organized if the inside is a mess? How's that supposed to happen? It's not going to happen. Look, if on the inside you are messy, guess what's on the outside? Guess what's on the outside? The same stuff. You can't pull things together and expect them to stay together when on the inside you got stuff swept under the rug and stuck in boxes and hidden in the corner. And then you're thinking your outside world's supposed to be amazing while you got stuff inside rotting, and it's stinky, and it's old, and it's painful, and it's sharp, and you're still bleeding. I mean, that's not how it works. So when your outside world is not going well, you probably need to look on the inside. Not probably, you do need to look on the inside. So this is my specialty as a life coach. Now, sometimes people don't like doing this, and so I don't force them, but I'm here to help them when they want help, because I know what needs to shift for the levels to shift. If you want to shift a level and you want your marriage to go up, you want your relationship with your kids to go up, you want your bank account to go up, then you need to shift on the inside. That's where it has to happen first. So that's levels. Wow, right? So this negativity, what happens is it gets in your head, it gets on your heart, and then this is what happens. When it starts to stack up on your heart, it stacks up and it works up to the level where your voice is. If the negativity gets in your mind and it stacks up, it works to get into your voice. And so you start to actually talk negative. You start to be critical. You start to be judgmental. You start to be pushy, aggressive with people, and condescending. And that is a sign of a person who's got negativity in their mind and negativity in their heart. So you can hear it come out of people's voices. That's the thing, is that the cool secret part, it's in the voice. The voice tells everything. It tells what's going on in the mind, on the inventory, and it tells what's going on in the heart and what's weighing on the heart. But just so you know, you can't hide this stuff. You can't hide it, because it will come out in your voice, and people will hear it and people will react to it. Sometimes I get a chance to work with parents, and they say that their children don't respect them. And I say, okay, well, let's just talk for a bit. And I listen to their voice, and I hear a lot of pain in their voice, a lot of negativity. And it's like, wow, I think I know why they're not respecting you, because you got some hurts, and they know you're wounded, and they don't want to follow a wounded parent because it might be going the wrong way. And so your voice affects people, how they treat you, if they listen to you or not. It's big, it's huge. And so negativity builds up in the brain, it builds up on the heart, and it shows up in the voice. So you can hide it as much as you think you can, but you never can hide it. Realistically, it'll clog up and it will pollute your voice, and it'll cause some extra problems. Extra. Not just normal life problems, extra. So I care about these three categories of you. What's going on in your feel, sense area, what's going on in your think zone, and what's going on in your language. Because really, to be in alignment, we need to clean out all three of these. That's what needs to happen. And this is what I've learned from this experience that I had 18 years ago. I learned a lot. So negative, positive. Wow, right? Okay, so here's number one. Clear the negative energy from your mind, from your heart, and from your language. That's what you need to do. And it's so true. Nothing will get better until you do. If you want your marriage to improve, you need to improve first. If you want your income to improve, you need to improve yourself first. And now you know that you are moving up and down levels all day long, but it's based upon your inventory, not based upon circumstances. We're all hit with storms of life, but what matters is what direction we're going on the inside. If you're on the way up and you get hit by a tough situation, you're still going to keep moving up. It might just be slowed down a bit. If you're going down and you get hit by a bad situation, well, that can weigh on you and push you down quickly. So what matters is what direction you're going. But life is still going to happen. It doesn't make everything go away. It just makes it so you can actually deal with it and make better decisions of what to do, how to cope, how to navigate, how to work your way through it. I just have to show you one more time. It's based upon inventory. It's based upon where you're at. It's based upon the level. If you're going up, you're going to go up the levels. If you're going down, you're going to go down the levels. Got it? Good. Okay, next. So if you stay to the end of this presentation, I got something I'm giving away at the end of this presentation. So I've got some scholarships I'm giving away. You want to hang in there. You want to be there at the end so you can find out what they are. And maybe it could be you that gets a scholarship. So, you want to hang in there? Okay, let's move on. Okay, isn't this true? Human beings are works in progress that mistakenly think they're finished. When I hear people say, I thought I fixed that. It's like, no. It's like, no. It's a constant management of where you're at, but avoiding the bottom lines, because that's terrible down there. That's nasty. But it's a management. What is it? It's a management. We're not done. We're not done. No. We're not done. We're managing. We're learning how to be managers of our life. Not just done. Okay. All right. This one, it looks big and complex, but I just want to bring this up. This is another very important principle I want to show you that I learned from my experience. So this is you, and this is you as a little baby, as a child, and boom, 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 boom. And then here you are today. This is the present. This is your past. This is your future. Future, past, present. This is what you currently have. This is what you wish for. These are your wishes, dreams, and hopes. But this is what you currently have. Now you're moving forward into the future. And as you move into the future, you are producing more of your past, right? So the past is adding up. Every day you go forward, you now just added a day to the past, right? So we have days, weeks, months, years of a past. Now, in our past, there are moments that were not good, that were tough, difficult, hard, challenging, confrontational. There's moments back here, all different sizes. Could have been little moments, could have been big moments. Could have been something between you and another person. Could have been something that just happened just last week. But these situations in your past are still there. The past is not gone. It's inside you. Just because last week is 7 days ago doesn't mean it's 7 days away. It was 7 days ago. So inside you is your past. It never went away. It's there in your subconscious, in your head. Your subconscious is in your head. And everything in your past is in your head. It's not somewhere else. It's not down the street. It's not down the road. It's in your head. So all of your past is in your head. And if you have some past experiences that are difficult, that you're trying to let time take you from those moments, it's not happening. Time does not take you away from what happened last year. What happened last year is still there. The argument you had with a family member 2 months ago, it's still there. When you were 16 and you did that really dumb thing, that's still there. When you were 12 and you wish you would never have done that thing, it's still there. Even though you have a lot more memories on top of that, it's still there. And that negative, in fact, let me go actually get one of those negative pieces. Hold on. Boom, there we go. Let's use these. Excuse me. Okay, let's just use these. Okay, so these don't go away. They're still there. And I know you're sitting there going, wow, this is a depressing training this morning. No, it's not depressing. Sometimes I get called a pessimist because I'm always looking for what's wrong, but don't worry. I look for what's wrong so we can clean it up. I'm the cleanup crew. So I'm like the mechanic. I'm like, you're taking your car to the mechanic and you want me to find what's wrong with your car. But for some reason, some people don't want me to find out what's wrong with their mind and body and soul. But it's your vehicle. Your body's your vehicle. Your brain is your vehicle. And we need to fine tune this so it can function better, or you're going to get low gas mileage and it's going to burn up too much oil and you're going to burn out your engine and you're going to break down. You're going to blow up or break down if you're out of tune. So I'm here to help look for things that could cause you to be out of tune. Okay. So your past, I have a past, you have a past. In my past, there have been issues with things. Confrontation, challenges, problems, difficulties, mistakes. Oh, just full of things. And I'm 52 years old, right? 52 years old. So I've got 52 years of stuff. But guess what? If I want to move up a level and move forward, right? That's the same thing. Up or forward is the same thing. But if I want to move forward, doesn't it make sense that I would want to handle these negative things? Handle them, right? That means reconcile. Reconcile means to complete, to finish, to do what it would take to make amend to that moment, to reconcile. And so I've been working on reconciling my past for about a good 16, 17 years. Once I figured out I got a past I got to clean up, I figure I'm going to be cleaning up my past for the rest of my life. Took me 52 years to get this point. It's probably going to take me 52 years to clean up my life. But it's worth it. Not everybody wants to do it. Some people just avoid it and they go, no, I'm just going to live my life and just bury this. I don't want to do this. It's like, okay, it's just going to drag with you. It's inside you. And every one of these, this right here, has weight. These are not back here. They're actually all inside you. And they all have weight to them. And when these add up, they get heavy. And when you feel heavy, you're going to feel depressed. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel easily scared. It's going to add up and it's going to weigh on you. So these are not 10 years ago. They're inside you, logged in at 10 years ago. In chronological order in your brain, in your calendar, in your journal that's kept in your head about everything that goes on in your life, it's sitting there on page 10 years ago. So it sits there and it weighs on you and it will smash you, or at least make you super tired, or at least cause you to feel like you're working so hard, but you can't really get anywhere. It's because you have weight. Put on a backpack, throw some rocks in there, and then try to go do everything tomorrow and see how you feel. You're going to feel like you're working extra hard to do the same easy thing, but it's because you have rocks in your backpack. So if you took one of these rocks out, what would happen? You would feel lighter. You would move more fast. You would move more efficiently, effectively, because you'd have less rocks in your backpack. So each past experience that is not reconciled is a rock that you carry. Reconcile your past. Reconcile your past. And that's going to require a lot of love and forgiveness. But reconcile your past. This will affect you to feel heavy, and you see these are negative, and if you got a bunch of them, you could be trying really hard to move up this scale, and you're trying to move up the scale, but you just feel like something's holding you back. Want to know what's holding you back? No, can you believe I keep clicking back and forth between all this? This is what's holding you back, is these rocks from your past. If you've ever felt like something's holding you back, this is it. I know this because when people listen to me and they listen and we work through it, and they become light and lighter because we were able to let go and reconcile that particular experience, and that leaves them, it's reconciled, boom, it's gone. They feel lighter. And guess what? When people feel lighter, they're happier. When they feel heavy, they're not happy. They're grumpy. So if you see somebody who's grumpy, it's probably because they feel heavy and the rocks are coming from things in their past or negative stuff in their head or in their heart. It's the same thing. It's negativity. This is negative because it's an unreconciled experience and it's still weighing on you and it's draining your energy, which makes you feel slow and makes you feel heavy. It makes you feel like it takes so much effort to get things done. reconcile your past. Wealth is the product of man's capacity to think. Let's talk about money here really quick. Whoa, look at this. Look what just popped up. The same symbols of positive, negative. So when I had that experience that many years ago, and it caused me to look for what causes me to go down, what causes me to go up, I started to realize that these two symbols are in everything. You can't get away from it. We could pull up any topic and we would bring these two symbols up and go, there they are again. Okay, so what would happen if you put this symbol on money? What if you were positive about money, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? What would happen? You would probably have better experiences with it. But what if you also had this about money? Money's wicked. Money hurts people. Money turns people into evil people. And you got one positive and you got 5 negatives. So what's going to happen? I'm going to go all the way back. Here we go. I'll go all the way back here. If there's one positive and there's 5 negatives, where are you going to go with money? Down. You're going to go down. I think you're going to start to get the hang of this, what I'm talking about, because there's certain things that make you go up and there's certain things that make you go down. And that's what we're discovering here is what are these things that make us go up and down? Because if we can figure this out, then we can change what's going on. When somebody tells me, and I'm coaching them, and they say, or anybody, when they say, I wish I had more money. I said, really? What's going on? Well, I just can't get money. And I said, well, tell me about money. They're like, what do you mean? I go, well, tell me your thoughts and feelings about money. And they say, well, I want some. I said, okay, what else about money? And as we start to talk, I find that it's very common for people who struggle with money. They also have a lot of negative that they did not know piled up on money. They did not know. And they're like, whoa, because I know what to look for. I know exactly what to look for in the negative categories of money. And I go, well, what about this? What about that? And they're like, what? I don't like that. And they're like, oh, okay, there's another negative for you on money. And it's like, wow, look at the inventory. No wonder you don't have money. You and money are not going to happen because of all the negative energy you have about money. And this is all their experiences, everything that's happened, their point of view, what their mom taught them, what their dad taught them, what their friends taught them, what grandma and grandpa taught them about money. And it can be very polluted. So I coach people about their income a lot. And they think it's based upon luck. And it's like, it's not based upon luck. It's based upon a relationship. It's based upon a relationship. And if you have 6, if you have 6 negatives towards money, if you're that negative towards money, money's not going to hang around. It's just not. It's not going to hang around. Just like a friend, if you were 6 times more negative towards a friend than being positive, that friend is not going to hang around you. They're going to be like, done with you. So money's going to do the same thing because this is power. This is energy. This is an influence. This is a negative influence. This is a positive influence. And if you got more negatives, you're just going to go down. That's just how it works. But Kirk, my thoughts and feelings don't go to money because money's not alive. But the person who had the money, who has money, can feel your energy. So that's why you didn't get hired for the job. That's why they chose somebody else. That's why, and I don't know if you get this, but people are the stewards of money. It's not that money has a heartbeat, but people have a heartbeat and they're the ones who are managing the money. And so if you have negative towards money, people are going to feel that. And so money's not going to come to you. But if it's the other way around, let's just take these off and watch this. Are you starting to get the theme here of what's happening? I mean, boy, when you start to get this and you start to realize, whoa, there's something happening here. I could do something. Yeah, you right now probably just need a good tuning. We just need to go through the categories and we need to tune you up and literally just go through and do inventory on certain categories so we can tune you up so you're running and being more efficient and effective in who you are and what you're doing. Because most people are out of tune because they're lopsided. They got too much negative and they didn't even know they picked up all this negativity because they never think about this. They never think about it. Now look at this person. They've got 3, let's say it's you, 3 negatives on money, but they've got what? They've got 2, 4, 6 and the positives. What's going to happen? Tell me. They're going to go up the scale. They're going to go up the levels, right? Kirk, it's not that easy. If you think that, you find the way. Because I know smart people who are broke. And when I talk to them, I listen and I can hear the negativity. Remember? Like, watch this. I can hear their negativity. All I have to do is listen to people and I can hear where they're at when we're talking about money. So if I start talking about money with somebody, I can hear in their voice how stacked up they are in negativity because it will leak out in their voice. They can't hide it. Even if they say, I'm not negative about money. It's like, yes, you are. No, I'm not. And it's like, it's in your voice. Well, where is it? And I'm like, let me poke around. I'll find it. And so people cover up their negativity and they hide it all the time. People fake being happy all the time. And everybody's gotten really good at being fake happy. So people are really good at hiding their negativity from other people and from themselves. So they don't even know that they're negative, but yet they're broke. But they can't figure out why. Make sense? Okay. Mend your relationship with money is number 3. Boom, right? Oh, so good. So good. Now, wealth is a product of man's capacity to think, but this time I highlighted wealth. Maybe wealth is more than just money, right? Of course it is. Money's down the scale, right? There's other things. What about transformation? What about a physical transformation? This is Kirk and this is Kim. What a cute couple, right? They're on a vacation. They're together on the beach. They're just precious, right? Look at them. They are happy. They're doing a sunrise picture. The sun's starting to come up over the ocean. What a cute couple. This is Kim. At another time, we came back after the first picture. What? Look at her. What a smoking hot girl. Woohoo! Oh my goodness. Look at her. What happened? She transformed. Something's different. Can you see a difference? Look at me. There's a difference. What? Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Is that really the same couple? Is that really the same couple? Wait a minute. Yes, it is. You know what's beautiful about these things I'm sharing with you is it shapes you. It changes you. It affects you. Not just your income, not just your past, not just the level, but it literally shapes and forms you. You really want to care about what causes you to go up and what causes you to go down. You really want to care about what's going on. And you really want to pay attention to what your inventory is. And you really want to start pulling back the rug and seeing all the dirt piles you swept underneath the rug that you thought, oh, I'll just hide this. It'll go away, because it never goes away until you reconcile it. So here's number 4. Connect to your body. Listen to it. It is a gift from God. Take better care of it. Learn the art of mending and healing. Work through grief and shame. two very, 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 very intense emotions and experiences: grief and shame. Everybody faces it. Everybody goes through it. And most of us don't know how to manage it. Lots of good books out there. I'm pointing you in the direction to go here on number 4, because it'll help you in the direction you're going and what you want to have transform in your life. Cool, huh? So cool. Now, this is number 5. Number 5 is this. This is me. I grew up in Lander, Wyoming. And if you don't know where Lander, Wyoming is, it is right there, right next to the Wind River Mountains. Lots of fun fishing and camping and hiking. Also right next to South Pass, where the pioneers came across coming down to Utah. And some pioneers went up to the northern part of Wyoming. And that's where my ancestors went, is north, after they came to Utah. But there's Lander, beautiful little town. And that's where I grew up as a little kid. And so number 5, this is number 5 out of 5 that I'm going to show you. As a kid, you know, my dad, my mom, they raised me. And so what that means is I watched them, and I watched their examples. I listened to what they said, and I learned from them as a child. And then when I got old enough to go to school, then I went to school. And then school teachers taught me what was in the books. So that's my upbringing. Like probably most people, not everybody, but most people, is you learn from who raises you, and then you go to a facility, an organization that will teach you information. Okay, so this is important with number 5 that I learned is that when I was a kid, I didn't do well as a kid. Tests were terrible, and I just could not repeat back the things they were teaching me. I was a very slow learner and pretty much bombed out most of school. But I would get A for effort. And the teachers would always say, he's a really nice boy, and he's really kind and quiet. Kind and quiet were mentioned often about me, but never praise about my grades or how smart I was. So in the school of life, you are in school, by the way, in life, there's lots of categories. So we go to school when we're a kid, and then we get out of school whenever you got out of school. I got out of school as a senior in high school, but there's all these categories in life that school keeps going. And we have all these topics that we're studying, or we could study, and we could learn from, and we could then do well in those topics or not. And so I made a report card for you. So here's a report card. This is a School of Life report card. And there's a category called love, forgiveness, health, fitness, stewardship, organization, services, systems, time, and money. And love would also be, if you're concerned, like, wait a minute, you didn't put relationships. This is where relationships would fit right there with love. The relationships are number 1. And notice number 2 is forgiveness, right? So you have a report card of, and I don't know if it's broken up into quarters or how it's actually set up for, this part, but I do know that we all have these topics that we are taking, these classes we are taking in life, and ever so often we get a grade, a score. Now, this is another way to kind of check in on yourself, right? And go, okay, how am I doing with relationships? I'm getting a C+. What about forgiveness? Okay, not good at it, D-. What about health? Okay, what about fitness? D. Stewardship, well, not bad, average. Organized, a little bit better. Service, oh, I love helping people. Systems, nothing. Time, D+. Money, C-. So we could, if you and I had a chance to talk, we could come up with a report card, which then would help us see where we need to focus. Did you hear that word? Focus. What is that? What does that even mean? People say it all the time. Oh, well, if you want that to get better, you should focus. What does that mean? I know my eyes, when something's far away or close, I have to like wait till my eyes adjust and then they focus. Or I remember my mom saying, Kirk, do your homework. You need to focus. And what she meant was look at your book, your homework, instead of watching your brother and sisters play. So I was distracted and she would say, hey, focus. And so I would look back at what I was doing, right? So I guess focus means look at it or stay on it, right? To get better at it. Well, do you know how to focus? Do you know focusing techniques? Would you even know how to take an F in systems and get it to an A? What about forgiveness and get it from a D- to a B+, maybe to an A? Because it's going to require focus. Now, this one's really interesting, and I think it's something you need to pay attention to, because have you ever met somebody who lacks focus? Is it you? Is it you? Oh, it probably is you, isn't it? I know. Do you ever lack focus? Like, are you a squirrel chaser? You know what's funny? Today, we're right next to some redwood forest out here in California and Oregon. We're next to some redwood forest, and we were up in the trees, and there was this beautiful scenery. And I looked at the scenery, but right next to the scenery, there was a squirrel. And I was videoing the squirrel. And I thought, I'm having a squirrel moment. So me, Kirk Duncan, I require focus to get things done. If I don't focus on what I need to do, it's just not going to get done. I don't know about you. Maybe you're just super good at it and you can look at something and finish a project really easy. But the unfinished projects around the house are because of a lack of focus. That pile of paper on your desk is because of a lack of focus. You know this. That craft project you started last year is not done because there's a lack of focus. So what is the focus? What does that mean? I got to tell you, this is one of my favorite topics, to focus. Now, I got to show you something here that I think is going to be important for you to know. Let me talk to this particular screenshot first. You see that in the background? That's a focus board. It's also called a vision board. But vision, wait a minute, vision means I should look. And if I got to look at my book doing homework, that means focus. That means I got to look at my book. So that vision board is also considered a focus board. What? I thought it was a goal poster, Kirk. No, it's a focus board. This helps you focus on what you want to finish. Focus to finish. That's what you want. Because if you don't focus, you don't finish anything. Only things that get done, the only things that get done are the things you focus on. But you might be lacking some focus. Now I'm guessing. I'm totally guessing, but I'm thinking you might have a lower grade in the focus category and you need to upgrade your focus ability. Now, I lack focus, so I've got to use focus techniques. But these focus techniques have caused some crazy cool stuff to happen. Like growing up, I struggled with money. And then I get married, and then I tell Kim, oh, by the way, I don't like money. And then she's like, what? Oh boy. And so my sweetheart, Kimberly, in the first part of her marriage, had to deal with a husband who had money issues. I didn't like money. Money was bad. It was wicked. It was evil, and it was only used for evil things. And And I just had all this twisted stuff about money, right? So I realized since I'm a high school graduate, I need to focus on my relationship with money. So I started using some focus techniques so that I could tune in on money so that I could move some money through my life so that I could buy groceries, pay for my house payment, and go do something fun. But it's going to take focus because I was not good at it. So anything you ever want to finish or anything you're not good at, you can get good at it and you can finish your projects and accomplish things if you have focus techniques. So you see on the screen in front of you, $50,000 in 1 month. I put that on my focus board, my vision board. I put that on my focus board because I've never done that before in my entire life. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to produce $50,000 in 1 month. I'm going to produce this. I've never got to that line before. I've never had that much come my way before. And when I put it on my focus board, my vision board, I thought there's no way. It's going to be completely impossible for this to work. Impossible. And I thought it's going to take years for me to figure this out. 6 weeks later, actually 5.5. 5.5 weeks later, it was done. What? How did that happen? Because I struggle with focus and because I care about what moves me up and what moves me down, if I can keep myself moving up and hold a good ground and I focus, wow, I can finish things. I can create things. I can cause things to happen. But I've got to use focus techniques. Maybe you don't need to. I got to. Is that good English? I have to. I have to because if I don't, my brain goes all over the place. It goes everywhere. And so I'm very wise about what I will drop down if I don't focus. Which is good sometimes because I want to take a day off, but not all the time because I got to get my brain focused again, but I got to use focusing techniques. And so I just want to share with you, to cause this to happen, I used a vision board or a focus board, and I have a very unique way on how I use it, but everybody's got their own unique way. So, but I just like the way that I do it. So I use a vision board. I also use power statements that point me in a direction. I just love that. And then another thing that really helps me focus is music. Man, music with good lyrics can move me. Oh, it's so good. I just got to listen to music more often. It's just so good. But $50,000 in a month for a high school graduate, I think that's pretty awesome. I just think that's so cool. Now, the crazy part about this is it's not just about income. If you focus on anything and you can stay focused on it, you'll finish it. What in your life have you wanted to finish? Or what in your life have you wanted to start? Because it takes focus to start, right? Oh, if we could get you to focus, if we could set you up with focus techniques so that you could start and finish. What if you could? What if you could start and finish? You could do that again and again and again. Oh my goodness, that means you could apply that anywhere. What? It's so good. It's crazy cool. But here's the challenge. I got to show you this. Okay, here's your head. This is your head. This is your brain. Cute brain, blue brain. So there's information that goes in, but what kind of information do you have in your head? And then from that information is what you do. So what's going on in your head also matters, right? Now, let me show you this. This is powerful. I'm just going to show you a piece of this. But this is super important to know. In your brain, just to keep it simple, you have a subconscious and a conscious. You see those two right there, subconscious and conscious. The C means conscious, SC means subconscious. And there's a line down the middle, and the subconscious stays quiet, doesn't really like talk a lot. This is your consciousness, which means when you're awake, it's on, and when you're asleep, it's off. But your subconscious is on all the time, all the time. Now, which one actually controls your life? Subconscious does. But which one do you think controls your life? Consciously, you think you control your life. But everything that was programmed into you, literally programmed into you by who raised you and the culture you grew up in and what schools you attended, that programmed and conditioned you to think a particular way. You, as a conscious adult, you are trying to accomplish something out here, but you keep coming up short. And the reason why you come up short is because of what's in your subconscious. So focus techniques help you upgrade your subconscious. What focus really means is to reset your subconscious to focus on this instead of what you currently have been doing. So what focus means? It means tune up, upgrade your subconscious so it also will focus on this result. That's what changes your life, because your subconscious is going to keep producing the same thing because that's what it's programmed to do. So it's going to produce this, but you want this. But if you use a focus technique, like a vision board or these other focusing techniques, what happens is it will cause your subconscious to focus on what you consciously want. Without using focus techniques, it's a lot more difficult to accomplish something bigger than what you currently have. So focus techniques are not just so that it's a temporary thing. Focus techniques are literally a life-changing experience. So when somebody says, oh, you just need to focus, there's more to that than just saying it. There's techniques that you want to learn. And I know you're thinking, what does that mean, techniques to learn? Well, what that means is that a technique is a step-by-step process. Let me see if I can find my screenshot that explains that technique right here. So a technique is a step-by-step process that up-levels. That's what's cool about this, is that it up-levels the performance of the mind. And an individual can learn this process and take action themselves as much as they want, when they want, and for what purpose they want. So when I teach or coach people on techniques or focus techniques, it's a life-changing experience, not just a temporary moment. So like using a vision board, like if you have one, in fact, if you have one, jump in the chat and just tell everybody that you've got a vision board and you're using it and you're just just going for it, right? But just jump in the chat, tell everybody that you got a vision board. If you don't have one, then don't say it. But using these techniques and learning how they really work, you can upgrade your subconscious, because it is your subconscious that decides everything. I mean, seriously, everything. And so let me go back here where we were. Where were we? Right here. And so for me, I would not go through a day without using some kind of focusing technique. Because if not, I will fall off track. And that's not good, to fall off track. That's not good. So I want my subconscious, which is the most powerful thing inside my body, and I want it to be able to focus on what I want it to focus on. That's why I want to learn these techniques, so that I can move myself up, right? Oh, I hope that makes sense, because this is so good. This is so good when it comes to this part. I love this part. So for me, I've decided what I want to be when I grow up. This is what I want to be. I want to be in personal development. I want to serve others. I want to make a global impact. I want to help the children. I want to make a lasting difference, and I want to live my life fully. So for you, number 5 is decide what you want. Decide what you want to be when you grow up, and then calibrate or focus your mind to make it happen. Now, you're going to want to seek out a life coach who can teach you these focus techniques and the other 4 things that I've been teaching you, because this is what I focus on in helping people move up a level. I really like this because I know what it's done for me in my life. And it's like I'm my own walking testimony. I don't need to rely on somebody else's success testimonial, like, oh yeah, so-and-so used this and it really changed their life. But it's like, no, I use this and my life has continued to change. And it's like, wait a minute, I'm a high school graduate. How did I make this work? How did this happen? I had to get my mind in a better place. I have to take care of what's going on inside me so that I can do better on the outside of me. And to me, that's important to follow through with and to look at. So when you're wrestling with, like why you have certain results and why they're turning out that way, you want to look inward first, not outward. You want to look inward because, the way in which we think is not the same as everybody else. Everybody's at different levels. They're at different ways. They got different stuff in their head. You might be a squirrel thinker. You might be an obstacle thinker. You might be a 98-yard thinker, or maybe you're part of the 1.7% that accomplishes everything they set out to do. But those first 3 right there, yeah, they're struggling. And that's where a majority of people are at, is they're either a squirrel, an obstacle, or a 98-yard line. They want to be the 1.7% who just get what they focus on. But the rest of everybody else, the other 98.3%, need some kind of support, some kind of coach, some kind of mentor, some kind of help to be able to know what to do, to be able to make that progress. And what's cool about that is that there's people everywhere that can help. But really, you got to consider this. Maybe you're mentally out of shape. Maybe we don't strengthen our mind. Maybe we just let it kind of set on the couch inside of our head, and we just keep doing the same thing over and over again, but not really pushing it or exercising or strengthening it. Or maybe you got one of these others going on, socially awkward, emotionally out of balance. Or maybe you were just an excuse giver, always excusing what's going on. Well, wherever you might be, just know that I made mistakes along the way. I started out literally at the bottom, below the line. And if I made mistakes and I got messed up and I got in a big mess and figured this out, you could too. Whatever mess you're in, whatever difficulty you're facing, it's not hopeless. It's not. You're not hopeless. No way. No, you can always move up. You can always move down too, but we need to change that direction for you. Make it so that you are more of a manager of your life instead of just always putting out fires, always chasing things, always trying to fix things. That's going to exhaust you. But if you are more of a manager and maintaining that level, you're going to find yourself in a much better place. And if I could sit down with you and teach you the focus techniques, they're beautiful. To me, they're heavenly. I'm just going to say that. I really, because my own personal life and my results, it's like the only answer is I tuned in my mind to focus. And so I could see the opportunities that God was putting in front of me. And I know God waited for me to work on my mind before I could see the opportunities that he had been putting in front of me all along. Sometimes we just can't see because we're out of focus. Sometimes we can't see it. So I focus on what we think, what we feel, and what we do. And if any of those categories, excuse me, if any of those categories don't function very well for you, then you and I would be a good match. Now, just imagine if I was sitting at your kitchen table. Could you imagine that? And we were talking about this, and we're talking about what path you end up going down. Are you the productive kind of person or the kind of busy, unproductive person? But what if I was sitting at your kitchen table? What if we did have a chance to talk and I could help you? Would you want some help? I guess that would be the first question. It'd be like, wait a minute, do you even want help? And you might say to me, Kirk, I'm just kind of like all over the place. I'm kind of all or nothing. It's all or nothing. And I get this. You know, you go for it and you burn up a bunch of energy, trying hard. And then you get to a point and then you're exhausted and then you give up and then everything falls. It's the all or nothing experience. And you just keep doing the zigzag. You push really hard, but then as soon as you let go, boom, it all falls. That can be frustrating, right? Especially when inside, watch this. This is crazy. You got to watch this. Watch what's going to happen. See, oh, wait, I got to get this up here. Watch this whole zigzag. There we go. Watch what happens. All this energy spent on this zigzag, but watch what happens when we take each of these and we straighten them out. I can't get it just like exact, but we're just going to kind of straighten it out. Watch. I'm going to take this one and put that point right there. I'm not going to change the length at all. I'm just going to change the way that the line is laying. Okay, boom. Okay, watch. That's only 2 lines. Look, this zigzag energy right here would get you this far down the road. Whoops, to your goal. Look at this. Oh man, look at this. Oh, you're kidding. You are kidding. Look at this. Oh, whoa. Slow down. There we go, right there. What? If we take those zigzags and we straighten them out, you'd already be there. But you already know this. You already felt that before when you're going, wait a minute, I should already be there, but I'm not. You've used enough energy that would have got you there because physically you burnt up that much energy, the zigzag, the all or nothing. But what happened was you're zigzagging up and down and you weren't being linear. You weren't moving straight forward. And so that's why you only got to this point, but energetically you have surpassed your goal. Boy, that's the biggest frustration I hear people say all the time. Kirk, I feel like I should already be there. And it's like, yep, you already burnt up enough energy. You really ought to have been there. But you were doing the zigzag, which means up the levels, down the levels, up the levels, down the levels, up the levels, down the levels, because you're not managing where you're going. So if you're hearing me on this, you would do better if you had some training on how to manage this. And you might know a lot, but I don't think you're doing it. You're not really knowing the particulars of what to do to make this work the best. But just so you're aware, all your zigzag up and down, you could have already accomplished a lot of goals. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, you saw the chart, you saw what I just did, and you know the feeling, don't you? You know the feeling. You know it. Don't put it under the rug. But I know for myself what's happened to me. If it can happen to me and I can do better, you got plenty of a chance for you to do better because I'm a work in progress. And it's taken me quite a number of years, right, to do what I do. But hey, I'm consistent and I'm persistent. And if you're that, if you could be consistent and persistent, oh, we could do some good work, do some good work. And so sometimes this is how it feels, right? All over the place. And this is what you need. This is what it feels like. This is what you need. What is a mentor? What is a life coach? Well, you learn from others, learn how to see life from a clearer point of view. And a life coach or a mentor can help you identify where your subconscious messes things up and causes self-sabotage, so you can be more of a straight line. And I know that's what you deep down desire, right? And I'm in the same place, but people tend to be do-it-yourselfers. They go watch a webinar like this and they try to scoop up some thoughts, and then they run off and try to go do it themselves and try to figure it out, try to reverse engineer what the person's doing. When really what needs to happen is invest in a great life coach, invest in a mentor who can help you in these categories that I'm showing you, who's really focused on how this really works. You know, and be careful. You might find yourself a cheap life coach, and they are pretty enthusiastic, but they have no idea how to do the work I just showed you. So be conscious about this. In fact, use what I just showed you here as a way of measuring the life coach and saying, hey, do you know how to do this? Do you know how to do this? And then ask them about their own personal results. I think that's a fair way to do that. But the do-it-yourselfer piece, yeah, be careful there. You're going to waste time. I've done that before. Now, here's the part that's cool. You know, this is what we want. And I'm guessing for you, but I know it's true. You want to be clear. You want to be focused, like what we've been talking about, and to be able to live your life purpose, right? Like figure out what are you doing and what are you going to do, and then get going on it. I'm living my life purpose. I found mine. And if I can find mine, I can help you find yours. I can help you. So this is where we're going. And so this is what is the tendency of what people look for right here. Oh, well, if I'm going to go there, I need this: training, education, planning, correction, repetition. And that's true. That's what you want to look for, is somebody who can give you training. But I'm going to give you one other super big secret right here. Right here in the middle, this is what you want to find, is a person who knows how and what to adjust. Yeah, you have a vision board. What do you adjust? Okay, so you have declarations. What are you going to adjust to get you up to that next level? Do they know what to adjust? Do you know what to adjust? That's what you want to look for, is who is good at this? Because you know where this comes from? Experience. The person has to have had experience. And not just, they're not just as a side job, they're a life coach, but somebody who's full on. Now, I've given 6,000 presentations. I have taught classes every single month for 16 years. Seminars, 1,000 people, 800 people. I built 42 programs, right? I'm in this full on. It's on my mind 100%. I mean, it's just every day. This is what I do. I don't have another thing I do. This is full on. And you heard my story where I've come from. This I understand deeply. That if you have a vision board and it's not working, I know what to do to help you get your vision board to work. If you've been using declarations and they don't work for you, I know why. If you're using a life story and it's not working for you, I know why. If you're using emotional management techniques and they're not working, I know why. I've been doing this for years. 16 going on 17 years. This is what you want your coach to do and to be able to explain, so that you can fine tune the process so you can get there. Because people are getting training. I know people who are getting training and they get into it and they start using it, but then they don't get this. And so they get held up right here. But this is what you want. Somebody with experience. Man, I wish I could come over to your house and sit at your kitchen table. Would we have cereal for breakfast? Or steel cut oats? Or some flapjacks? Some bacon. Oh, we got to have bacon. Do you have bacon? Man, that would be good. Okay, if you got bacon, tell me in the chat. I just want to know if you got bacon. I like the big, thick bacon. Oh, it's so good. It's like, oh, okay, got to stop thinking about bacon. But this is the thing. If we sat there, you would tell me what you've been trying, and I would help you fine tune. I would help you. I would answer those questions. Because I know how hard you're working at this. I know how hard you're trying, and I know you're wondering, how come this isn't working? They said it's supposed to work. Well, what they taught you probably works. You just don't know what to adjust. Everything in this life requires adjustments. Everything requires adjustments. So this is where I could be of a great help to you in this adjustment area. Super cool. I really do hope we get a chance to work together. But if you've ever felt this, that it doesn't make sense, I don't know why I do that, I don't know what to change, why can't I change, what do I do now, who do I ask, who will listen to me? If you've had these questions and you're not reaching out and you're not opening yourself up to be trained, be smart about this. You probably got the devil in your head trying to stop you. Don't let the confusion weigh on you. Don't go down the path I went down. If you've ever felt like you're the stuck person and you wish you could get through that wall, well, I can help you. Again, these are the kind of questions that I answer. How can I get moving again? How can I stop being so angry? How do I stay on track? How do I stay motivated? How can I generate money? How can I improve my relationships? How can I be more connected? Why can't I finish what I start? What do I do? Why can't I get started? Why can't I stop my bad habits? I can answer these questions for you and not only give you answers, but also give you a technique so that you can learn a skill. Because I am not a quick fix coach. I will teach you a technique to help you with whatever you got going on. I'll give you a technique to help your mind get more fine-tuned to function better. That you can count on from me. Never have I ever given advice without a technique right behind it, a step-by-step process that you can practice. And as much as you practice, you get better and better and better. And that's what I hear from all my clients is that they say, Kirk, boy, when I practice this, man, I get really good. That's what they say. And I love it. I love it. I love this so much. I decided I've got to make this more available to people because it used to be in my Master Your Influence used to be a 3-day seminar, right? It used to be a 3-day seminar and people would have to fly in and come to Utah and then get a hotel and then eat out. And it sounds like a vacation, but it added up some costs for people. They have to leave their kids and get some sitters and then hope everything's going to be okay and then travel and then go through all that and then travel back. And over the years, what happened is I realized it's like, man, there's people all over the world. I want to reach out to people all over the world. And so what I did is I changed Master Your Influence from being a 3-day seminar to being a monthly coaching program. Because Master Your Influence was so successful, it had the most people, the class that had the most people attend it every single year. It's like, wow, we've got to make this out there. So it's available to people out there. So I turned this into a monthly coaching program. Oh, I love it. It's just so amazing because now it can come to you. You don't have to travel to come to the event. You actually can tune into it through the internet and to be able to watch live as I coach twice a month. Now, what is it that we focus on? Well, everything you saw me talk about here today, this shows up in Master Your Influence. It shows up there. But there's 3 things I want to have happen to you. You see those 3 circles? These are the 3 things I want to have happen to you. You get stronger, you get lighter, and you get smarter. Stronger, lighter, smarter. 3 things, because if you're stronger, you can hold that line and not drop. If you're lighter, you won't have that heavy feeling inside. You won't have that depression. You won't have those weights on your mind. You'll be able to move more quickly, act sooner, more responsive to the prompts and the impressions you get. But also, because you're stronger and lighter, you also are going to be smarter, making smarter decisions, being able to assess things and be more in tune and more aware. Stronger, lighter, smarter. That's what will happen for you in the Mastery Influence Life Coach program that happens twice a month, every month. Oh, it's so good. And it's just perfect because it's small chunks with assignments that you work on over the next week and a half, and then, over the next 2 weeks, and then boom, there I am again. And we go to the next step, and we go to the next step. And so every one of those coaching sessions, it's a group coaching, so it's everybody's there together, and you take steps from one session to the next session, and we make some incredible things happen because I know how to focus on the inside, the functions that are going on inside you. I know how they work. I know how to help you help them work better, because your inside affects the outside. And you need to learn the techniques because you're going to be helping other people. I know you are. So I'll teach you these techniques and help you. So 2 times a month, it's on Wednesdays. It's the first Wednesday, the third Wednesday. Each one of them are 2 hours. If you can't get on the call, which happens between 11 and 1 on those Wednesdays, if you can't get on the call, it's okay. We record it. And we have an online library that we stick the recording in. So good. That way you don't miss the event. And then when you get home, you can then click in, watch it, listen to it, so you can stay on top of what I'm teaching. Now, I coach and mentor clients. I hold online events. And so I'm in this. So everything that I'm teaching is current. I'm not going to teach you outdated material. That's not going to happen. No. I know what's going on in the world. I'm going to help you with what to do now for what you're facing to keep your head focused, not scattered, focused. Because you're in the school of life. And report cards are going to be coming out soon. Where's your grades? I can help you with that. Every one of these techniques are going to help you with these different areas of your life. It's beautiful. It's simple, but it's work. I mean, it's not like you're just going to mix up something and drink it and think that you're going to be fine. You got to do the work. Now, just this morning, I jumped on and just typed in, how much is a life coach? And this is what came up. They said that life coaches are $75 or more per session, up to $1,000 per month. This one right here says, how much will I pay for a life coach? Average price is $100 to $300 per session. This one is $100 to $300 to $200 to $1,000 per month. This one said $75 to $200 per hour, such as $300 per month or 4 30-minute sessions, or $2,000 for 8 90-minute sessions. And then there's another thing I found that said, as mentioned earlier, life coaches charges rates similar to other helping professionals. Most life coaches charge somewhere between $75 and $200 per hour. So if this was $200 per hour, of course, I'm going to choose the high price because of my 17 years of experience and what I can do for you. And we go back to this, and it's 4 hours. So $300 times 4 hours, that's $1,200. Or let's go with the low price. Let's go with $75. Let's go with $75. $75 per session. So you get 2 sessions with me, but they're 2 hours. Most coaches are only 1 hour. So I'm going to do 75 times 4. So that is $300. So at the low end, it's $300. comparatively to the average that's out there. It's $300 a month up to $1,200. So $300 to $1,200 a month for this coaching program. So which one should I pick? 300 or 1,200? Which one do you want me to pick for the price of this program, so I can coach you every month on your phone, on your computer, and maybe even your kids are in the background watching me, right? Whoa, there's an idea. So $300 or up to $1,200 for this program. So recently, we have made an upgrade to the Master Your Influence program. We've made an upgrade, and I'm super excited about this. So the 1,200 sounds more like that would be the way to go, because we did upgrades. I've got 16, 17 years of experience. And so going off what the averages out there, $300 to $1,200. So let me show you these two programs. We've taken the Master Your Influence program, and we have created two different levels that you could participate. Two different levels. Maybe we should make one 300 and the other one 1,200, right? So the first level is called the core. And what happens is in the core, you get two training sessions a month, which is a group session, 2 training sessions. And so that's the 4 hours a month of coaching. You also will have the replays of that coaching session that we'll put in your online library. And it does have some limited access, but it does give you enough time to go back and watch the program, but you do need to watch it soon. Okay. And then also I send out a follow-up. I want to find out how you're doing, a progress report. Now this core program, here we go. Here's the price. The core program for you, if you wanted to jump in, because I know you do, because I would be fantastic and super excited for you to be able to do this program for $19 a month. What? It's not even $300. What are you doing, Kirk? Like I said, I want to help people. I want to help people all over the place, and I can do this. I can do this. My personal mentoring is $30,000 for 10 appointments. So it's $3,000 per appointment. It's $1,500 an hour. So that's my personal mentoring. If you want to hire me as your personal mentor or coach, let's do it. Call my office tomorrow, or email my office tomorrow. Let's do that. So it's $30,000 for 10 2-hour appointments that last about 10 months. Pretty powerful though. Okay, so here, this group coaching is $19 a month. Was $29, but right now, with what we have offered right now, if you want to jump in right now, it's $19 a month. Isn't that amazing? Okay, the other one, the premium side of this, of the Master Your Influence, because there's 2 options of what you have access to. Watch this. The premium, it includes everything in the core program. So all this, right, is in the premium program. But watch this. It also includes 3 times more replays, which means the replays stay in there longer. So you can go back and watch them again and again if you need to review them or go back and remember what it is that I taught you. So 3 times more replays. Then also the recording of the live Master Your Influence 3-day event. We put all those videos in an online library for you to watch what happens at one of those live events. Fantastic. Oh, so good. And then also the Royalty and Romance, which is about couples, relationships, couples, emotions, about working together, getting on the same page as a couple. This is fantastic. Royalty and Romance, which is 3-day program. And it has all of the videos of that training, which you're going to literally be so excited for. because of the training that's inside there. That's in your library if you choose to do the premium program, which I think ought to be $1,200, don't you think? Okay, then you also have access to the Master My Thoughts program. That makes sense. You need to have that program so you can master your thoughts, because you don't want that to drop, right? And that's seriously super important to have, because that's where the devil got me, because my brain was weak and I didn't know how he got in there. But this Master My Thought program, it's going to help you fortify your head so the devil can't get in there, or anybody else who's weird and wicked. Okay, so Master My Thoughts program, going to absolutely love that. It's got different segments to that, which you will get incredible training, which would be great for your family, great for your friends to learn from you after you watch this. Then also, you got kids? Okay, this also includes the Youth Mind Warrior training program for youth. I know. It's like, look at this. This is so good. It's so exciting. So exciting to be able to provide this for you, because my cool team is creating systems and an online library that we can do this. So great. And then also, you got this racket cycle training. It's about breaking habits. That's what this is about. It's about breaking habits. And the stories that I've heard from people who have learned the training, used the training, and what they've been able to stop happening in their life is absolutely heart-touching. Very cool. And we had to include this big training. It's big. It's got like 12 videos to it. If I remember right, I think there's 12. There might be 10, but I know it's over 10. But 12 videos about how to read body language. Now, I'm going to warn you, it's a very, very deep program. Lots of thick training when it comes to this body language extreme. But if you like learning about body language and you want to understand people better, go through that. It's going to take you a bit, but it's on your library. It's in your library. So how do you do this? Oh, and then also, of course, you get full access to my audio library, Kim's audio library, and the other audios that we have. And so you are set up like really, really good. Okay, so $1,200, right? Well, actually, it was $49, but if you register now, it's $39 a month. What? I know. Wait, that's not $1,200. That's only $39. I know. What are we doing? Well, we are here to help you, your neighbor, your friend down the street, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. We're making this affordable so you can have a life coach for less than going out to dinner. And you got a life coach for the month to teach you, to move you, to show you what to adjust. That's what we're doing here. Now, how do you do this? How do you register for this? Well, let me show you. Let me find the button here so I can show you. Makes it really, really easy. So over here on the right side of your screen, you see where it says join now? It says Master Influence Join Now. Click that button and it will take you to the screen that's going to show you all this. And it'll help you see everything. It's so cool. And it's so easy to do this. Now, there's two different levels to choose from, the core or the premium. And then also there's two different ways that you can pay for it. When you get to the page, you're going to notice that there's a button at the top that allows you to choose monthly or to choose semi-annually, which means this is a 6-month where you pay for it all up front for 6 months, but it's a lot less per month, which if you're into saving money, that's like the smartest thing to do, right? It even drops the price even more. In this, like, this is out of control. This is so smart to be able to make it affordable for people so that they can get these life training techniques and understanding so that more people can do well and perform well. So when you get to this page, you'll see that there's a little toggle button up here. Choose either monthly or semi-annual. And when you click monthly, then this comes up. Then choose between either one whichever level you want to participate, if you want all the access or if you want to keep it simple. Or over here, you click semi-annual and you can choose the core, or you can choose the premium, which gives you that full access, which is really going to set you up smart in being able to find answers to your solution. So I think my team has done a great job at organizing this. And what you do now is go over to the side to join now, and that'll take you to the page where then you can make your selection of which level you want to participate in. And then if you want to do it monthly or semi-annually. Perfect, right? And then if you know someone, you can send that link right there. See that link right there? 3ke.2/influence. You can send that in a text and it will take them to the same page. So because you're here on this webinar and you send this to them, they also can get these specials that are happening right now. Now, if you know me, I love to add bonuses, but I just got to say, I love what people say about the training. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of testimonials to prove that this works, that they did the work and it worked for them. And we love, love, love that they're doing the work because their lives are changing. But I love this. Over-delivered. Every question I had was answered. Beautiful. So there's the link. But then there's also bonuses. So bonus number 1, by registering today, you're also going to receive this money training about how to get past your limiting beliefs with money. It's a $97 value video, training video from me to you that you get as a bonus for registering today. And then bonus number 2, I know 2 bonuses, right? Bonus number 2 is a full training on self-sabotage. What is it? How do you stop it? Because you want to know how this works so you can catch those self-sabotages. But here you get bonus number 2, again, a $97 value for this training. And of course, a 3rd bonus. And all of this is on the page. When you click there, that button on the right, you'll see these bonuses on there that you get these along with the reduced offer for the program. And this one right here is help you listen to people. You know, I was telling you about, listen to what people say, listen to their tone of voice. This is going to help you fine tune your listening skills. Now, of course, we put all this together so that you can do better, so that you can be a good example to kids, so that when somebody else is struggling, they're going to come to you. And then you can help them. That's the plan. You learn, you practice, you get good at this. Now you can help people too, because there's a lot of people that need help. And we can't do it by ourselves. So my plan is to train you and teach you in such a good way that you have the confidence to go help other people, right? Right. So go make a choice of which one you want, then choose if you want to do it monthly or semi-annually. And if you got somebody you know that you can send the link to, send it to them. Help them out. And then just tell them, hey, you can trust this guy. I know him. I know Kirk and Kim. They've been doing great things. Here you go. They got an incredible offer. They've upgraded their program. Jump in. I mean, just go ahead and send that to them. Now, check this out. I got a scholarship to give. I have 3 scholarships that I'm going to give right now. And these people get to choose what they want. So they can choose the premium program, and they could also choose that they get it for the 6 months. I'm serious right now. So I'm going to look over here in the chat box. And for the first, I need somebody saying they want the scholarship. Does anybody want the scholarship? If you do, type it in the chat box. Because I'm sitting here looking at the chat box, and I'm going to watch the names that pop up. And I'm going to take my pen right here, and whoever pops that up, and I'm going to close my eyes, and I hope I don't turn something off on my computer. Boom. Oh, where'd you go? Okay, Jen Nelson. She gets 1. Jen Nelson, Melanie Brown, and Boom. Rachel Hansen. So I was just like, boom. I just like the next one. So I hope, Adam, I hope you got all that because Adam's helping me out with this training. Okay, so if not, you can go back and listen to it. So you three get a scholarship. And then, of course, if I were you, choose the premium program. And then, of course, choose the semi-annual one. And so that it's the 6-month one, right? Why not, right? That's so cool. Love it. It's so good. All right. Thanks for letting me hand those scholarships out. That was super fun. I got to do that more often. Oh, and one last thing, the extra bonus. For those of you who sign up today, I'm going to do a personal Q&A session for 2 hours with everybody who signs up today. Not per person, but as a group. So if you sign up today, you're going to be invited to a group discussion that's going to be a Q&A. And it's going to be 2 hours of questions and answers. And literally what it's going to be is I'm going to coach as many people as I can during that 2 hours. And so we'll keep it short conversations, but I'm just going to get the information and just get right to the point about what technique and what to do. And if you want to get on there and listen, there's going to be no recording. There's not going to be a recording. You just have to just get on. I got to still pick the day that this is going to happen on. So my team will email all of you who register today. But for those of you who jump in and click the button and choose one of those programs for the Mastery Influence program, you're going to get invited to this Q&A. And if there's only one person, I'm still holding it. So that means that one person would get 2 hours with me. It turned into a personal mentoring session, right? So if there's one person, if there's 20 people, I'm still going to hold the Q&A session. But I love Q&A sessions. I love answering questions. I love helping make sense of things. I've learned so much. I have learned a lot. God's really blessed me in helping me understand things. And I know it's because I'm hungry. I want to know. I want to figure these things out because I know how bad it feels to be down below that line. So if you're even thinking of this, or if you know somebody that, they would love this, then text them the link, right? Text them the link. And so if you register, or if your friend registers, your friend can jump on. And if you register, you can jump back, you can jump on. And I'm going to go back to, there's the link to send to your friend. And then the other link is over there on the right-hand side of your screen. But yeah, each of you that registered today, you'll get an email from us telling you when the private 2 hour Q&A session is. And what will happen is we'll just get on and I'll say, okay, who's first? And then you'll click a raise the hand button and then I'll choose you and then you'll answer your question and then we'll go to the next person. We'll go to the next person. We'll go to the next person. And so I can be there for you and help you. I thought that would be fun. I thought it'd be cool to get together and just have a real live experience together, solving some challenges. And I'll share with you what I'm sharing with my own personal mentoring clients. I mean, I won't hold back at all. And I'll really, really dive in and help as much as possible. Cool, huh? So that is for those of you who registered today. If you know a friend and they register, well, then they get to jump on too. And you can forward that to them. Super, super cool. Let's see, where did that screen go to the bonus piece? Oh, there you go. It's right there. Just want to make sure to qualify, you have to register. Okay, so this is a new offer. So if you're already in the Master Influence and you're like, well, can I be in there? It's like, this is for people who are registering to get in. All right, super cool. So this has been an absolute blast to be with you. And as you are contemplating if it's time for you to have a life coach, of course it's the right time. Because you're here and you're looking. You're looking. And so jump in. Choose one of these, right? Because what is this all about? Well, let's just back up a couple screens. Boom, 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 boom. It's way back here. Right. Getting closer. right there. This is what it's all about what's going on, what makes a person move up, and what causes a person to fall down. That's what you want to pay attention to, because you don't want to go down here. This is bad. Very, very, very difficult, very bad. People hurt themselves when they're down here. And reach out to those people. Care about those people. Every single one of us have the opportunity to make a move up. And every one of us need help in our brain to help our brain be stronger and more awake of what's happening. Cool, huh? Okay, got to go. I just want to come back here to the beginning. And I want to thank you for being here today, and thank you for letting me share with you my journey and what I've learned. And I hope you took a couple notes, and I hope you narrow it down to one thing that you decide that you're going to focus on. Cool. All right. Okay, I'm going to take off. Thanks for being here. And I look forward to talking to those of you who do register in that private Q&A. That'll be fun. It'll be really fun. All right, awesome. Thanks, everybody.